All right, once again, we have a question that is asking us to focus on a very specific line. So let's make sure that we do that. We want to go to the underlined portion, but we should still read everything. So it's from this book, Lily, Bart, and a companion are walking through a park. Okay. Lily had no real intimacy with nature, but she had a passion for the appropriate and could be keenly sensitive to a scene which was the fitting background of her own sensations. I have no idea what that means. They're describing Lily. The landscape outspread below her seemed an enlargement of her present mood, and she found something of herself in its calmness, its breath, its long free reaches. So, landscape is her mood. Yeah. Cool. On the nearer slopes, the sugar maples wavered like pyres of light. Lower down was a massing of great orchards, and here and there the lingering green of an oak grove. So that's descriptive, but specifically, we're talking about her mood and the landscape. So I'm looking for a choice that probably talks about those things as well. So what's the function? A, it creates a detailed image of the physical setting of the scene. No, it does not. Maybe the next sentence does. This is descriptive, but not the underlined portion, right? So this is a trap. This is if you don't read the question. B, it establishes that a character's experience an internal conflict. Well, that sounds, bad, right? Negative. But let's look at that line again. The landscape outspread below her seemed an enlargement of her present mood. She found something of herself in its calmness, its breath, its long free reaches. So maybe you don't understand what exactly that means, but you know what calmness is. That's a positive idea. So it doesn't seem conflicted, right? It seems like this is calming, not conflicted. Those are opposite ideas. So it's talking about our mood for sure, but this is giving us the wrong mood. So let's see what else we've got. C, it makes an assertion that the next sentence then expands on. Okay, turn this into a question, right? It seems vague. What assertion? Well, the assertion, I guess, would be that the landscape matches her mood. But then in the next sentence, are they talking about her mood? No, they're talking about the landscape. So I don't know that it's expanding on it because it would probably need to talk about both the landscape and the mood to expand on it. Maybe this is right, though. I don't know. Let's look at D. It illustrates an idea that is introduced in the previous sentence. So this is looking backwards. So if you're between C and D, notice they're focusing on two different sentences. So what's the previous sentence about? Lily had no real intimacy with nature, but she had a passion for the appropriate and could be keenly sensitive to a scene which was the fitting background of her own sensations. Okay, this is perfect. Perfect. I love this question. So when I first read that, I had very little understanding of what that first sentence meant. But now, because of choice D, I perfectly understand it, right? What did the underlined portion ask me to match with, right? It has to talk about the landscape, and it has to talk about her mood. So now I'm going back to that previous sentence, and I'm like, okay, did they talk about the landscape and the mood? Well, they say nature, right? They're talking about a scene, right? And then the mood would be her sensations, right? Even her sensitivity, her passion, right? So intimacy, there's lots of words that indicate her mood, her way of thinking, her emotions, and the world around her, the background, the nature, all that stuff. So I didn't get that before, but yeah, then the next sentence is kind of explaining what that meant. And so now choice D makes perfect sense to me because I was able to kind of make some connections that I wasn't making originally. This is just the power of the answer choices in your process. One mistake that a lot of my students make is when they don't understand something, they reread it. And they reread it again and again and again. And they hope that eventually it just clicks. And they waste a lot of time doing that. Now, a lot of times, if you don't understand something, it's okay because you didn't need to understand that thing to answer the question. There's a lot of extra information in these passages, even though they're kind of short. But even more importantly, what just happened here is what I expect to happen, is if I don't understand something and it does matter, the answer choice will help me understand it. So stop reading those passages a million times. Go to the choices, let them tell you what to look for, and then go back and reread with purpose. Now you're looking to make connections. You're not just trying to understand something in a vacuum. You have specific ideas that you're hunting for, and they're much easier to notice when you have a specific thing in mind that you're looking for. This would have been a good example of a question where I was confused at first, but I'm 100% certain at the end.